This video is about installing a mini split system on a second story with a brick wall and on a concrete pad. It's not a comprehensive video. Instead, I recommend you go to another video to check out a comprehensive step-by-step video. I show it right here. Is Learn to DIY. There's two things about this video that I think could be improved, and I mentioned them in this video. One is the torque on the flare nuts, and the other is the unpressurized removal of after pulling the vacuum. But you wouldn't go very far wrong by following the instructions in that video. And in fact, if you want a comprehensive one, you can go there now. I first built this little form, and this unit was delivered. It came in a box, and it didn't have the indoor unit, just the outdoor unit. But anyway, I wanted to bolt this down instead of hanging it on the wall. So I had a piece of plywood, and I drilled some holes in it in the exact position and put some eye bolts in there. And then when the concrete was wet, I jiggled that down into the concrete at a specific location so that the unit would be precisely positioned on the pad. So then I had to make a hole in the wall, and this is kind of the main difference in my situation versus the other video. I looked in the instructions, and it looks like number 2 is good for me, where it exits in the rear right, and I wanted to make sure the position was good on the wall, but they don't have measured drawings, so I had to kind of guess. But I had a long masonry bit, and I'd started from the inside at the precise location where I wanted the unit to be mounted, and I also had a 2.5 inch drill bit, a hole saw. So I did that. I drilled that, and then I taped it over, and I used this from the outside, and this is a masonry bit. So I got it's on the second story, so I got up on a ladder with this bit. This was the hardest part, starting this. It was not easy because it tended to just go all over the place because there's no pilot bit with this masonry tool. But you start off like at the 15-degree angle, and I managed to get it started, and I didn't take a picture of it completely done, but it took about 20 minutes or something to get through that brick of drilling, and it was messy and dusty. So anyway, now it's time to mount and connect the unit. This came days later. The whole thing did not come at one time. This came later, and I have the mounting plate now, so I can see if I drilled in the right place. And it was 25.5 feet, and I bought a 25-foot connector. So hopefully I was right on the hairy edge of being having enough. But I realized that the connecting line set inside the indoor unit would stick out through the hole, so I did have enough room. So anyway, this is the SketchUp model that I have a house model that I use for things like this, and looked like this was going to work nicely positioned right where I wanted it. And so that's the plate is mounted, and the sleeve is taped into the hole that leads outside. So that's ready to go, and I decided to take the whole thing and feed it in through the outside rather than trying to do it from the inside. So this is the whole kit outside, and I wouldn't do it the same way. I would just do the copper line set from the outside. The other two I would do on the inside, but I'm hanging this whole rig outside from the ladder, and 2 stories up from the unit. And you can see when I pushed in those, my tape job got messed up. Anyway, so here's how I managed to get the unit up there so that I could do the connections, I basically just got 2 ladders and 2 pieces of wood, and then I have a 1x that I use to just get the unit up there approximately where I wanted it, so that I'd be able to make these connections. And so it was nice and stable, and I didn't have anybody, have to get it on, on the floor or anything like that. I would do this on the ground before I lifted it up there, and then feed it out instead of doing it this way. But I tied these electrical connectors together after feeding this rope through the unit, and then I pulled it out to the front, and then I made those connections. Again, it is not convenient to do this up on the ladder, but it's the way I ended up doing it. I would do it on the ground if I had to do it again, but those are the connections made. And then this is the connection made for the water drain. And then here is the alignment for the copper connectors. And what I did is, since I didn't have an open-end torque wrench, and I wanted to get this right, is I did some math to determine how hard I had to pull on that big wrench with the luggage scale. And then I inspected the ends of these flare fittings to make sure there wasn't any kind of strangeness going on there. And I wanted to make sure that's right. And then I used this sealant, and I got these things connected, which I don't show the tightening of because I had my hands full. So then I insulated it and wrapped it with the tape as far as I could go, and then I pushed it through the wall and hung it on the plate, which that was no big deal. And then this got kind of pushed out, which was expected, and I began wrapping it with the tape on the outside, wrapping the wire and the drain and the 2 copper lines. And I would hang it from a ladder and then move and then wrap it some more. And so this is kind of just some, the slideshow of some pictures I took. And of course, they give you this paint gum or whatever, it's like plumber's putty, basically. And you fill out the gap. And then I put this cover on. And here's my process of adding the cover, moving down, straightening out the line, wrapping it some more, basically just working my way down. And here I'm inspecting these flare fittings. They look good. And I did the same thing. I added the sealant and did the torque wrenches and got this completed. But as it turns out, I was missing a fitting for the vacuum pump. So don't ignore that in the other video. But once I got that fitting, then I could make this connection to the compressor service valve with the blue line and with the gauges. And here's my list of what to do. The thing that's not completely described in the other video is 10A, where you crack it and you add pressure before you remove the blue line. And I did that, and then I turned it on, and it felt like there was warm air coming out of there. And no more ladders. I got all that done. And then on the inside, feels nice and cool. So I know this wasn't a comprehensive video, and I do recommend that you watch the Learn to DIY one, because that has all of the steps that you need. This one was just kind of a quickie that I thought I'd mention just a couple of things that I did differently from that video. So good luck with your install.